Hello? Hello? What about now? What about now? Can you hear me now? Is it coming through now? Let me know. Let me know. Is it coming through now? I think maybe it should be coming through now. You hear me? Good, good. Right. Okay. Thank you for letting me know that. Thank you. Otherwise I'd have just kept speaking and been speaking to no one. So probably gonna have to start again, aren't I? Because you heard none of that. Basically we're just covering obviously Bitcoin start to the month and obviously this dip. And all I was saying was obviously if you go to the monthly, even in uptrends and reversals and stuff like that, you still get somewhat of a lower wick. So obviously you can see, particularly on this uptrend here, you can see we had a slight lower wick there. Even on this one, you can see ever so slightly lower wick there by a couple of $100. This one, this was a massive candle, wasn't it? But still got a dip to form a lower wick on the monthly. So you still do get them, even if you look at these. So one potential good sign is, of course, have we got the dump partially out the way or fully out the way already? We're forming, as you can see, we'll have formed quite a large lower wick if the monthly comes up green. So as you can see, it opened there at 90,000. So already we've got quite a nice wick formed on the monthly. So that gives it some potential to maybe be putting the lower the month in early, perhaps, or at least some lower boundary for where Bitcoin may trade during December. So that's obviously one aspect. Is personally, oh, hang on, I'm just getting a call. Just wait there. Right, I'm back. Sorry about that. I just had to take that call, and that was quite an important call that I've been waiting on. So thank you for bearing with me there. Yeah, Bitcoin's getting a nice push back up, isn't it now? It's getting a nice push back up. So tell them you want the keys now, not next year, mate. I've been telling them that non-stop. I've been telling them that non-stop. It's becoming very, very ridiculous now. Is pretty much like a circus. So yeah, it's that whole thing is basically just a circus now. Dump it. Yeah, I mean, I think looking at this, obviously it's been a nice reaction so far in the 1 hour. We have a look to see what the S&P is doing. So the S&P is basically conducting, obviously, this Bitcoin move, because as you can see, we got open on the S&P, and it just obviously just chose violence straight away. You know, obviously in futures we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight green candles, and obviously if you look at the time that the S&P started dumping, so that was 11 o'clock. What time did Bitcoin start dumping? 11 o'clock. So, you know, you can see there that definitely the catalyst was this, which the dump on the S&P was, if we go and pull up the Nikkei, as you can see here, largely catalyzed. I mean, look at that downwards candle on the Nikkei there on the hourly. Obviously to do with Japan's economic unraveling, so to speak. So, you know, definitely catalyzed by that. I think probably the only worrying stance, I think, in terms of this would be the actual velocity in what Bitcoin has sold off. When the market is down, people listen to FUD. Wow, what FUD is the going around? Shorts awaken. What do you think? Let me know in the chat. What do you think FUD is going around? I don't think I've actually seen that much FUD, to be honest. I don't think I've seen anything really FUD wise relating to the market. Let me know what you've been seeing, if you've been seeing anything specific. But I don't think I've really seen anything FUD wise. Tether FUD. Yeah, so that was last week, wasn't it? That was on Friday. And basically that was mostly to do with obviously the S&P Global. That was to do with the S&P Global basically not understanding Tether's model and Tether's business model, and obviously how they have their reserves backed, and obviously the cash on hand that they've got as well, which I know obviously Tether's CEO went back on the weekend and basically set the record straight, didn't he? MicroStrategy FUD. The thing is, you're always going to have that. I don't think we'll ever, you know, you're never going to get away from that. You're never going to get away from that. I think, particularly with where we are on the chart, because we're so close to obviously MicroStrategy's entry, I don't think you're ever going to really get away with that. Now, I think, yeah, definitely in terms of it being FUD is right, because I think obviously people think that if we get back to MicroStrategy's entry, or, you know, if we start dropping below MicroStrategy's entry, that means that they're going to have to sell Bitcoin. Obviously not. You know, last cycle they took a 50% drawdown and obviously didn't sell any. This cycle is a bit different because of obviously the amount of debt that they've took on this cycle a little bit. But they're in a good situation, MicroStrategy. I mean, just before obviously we started the stream, yeah, let me see if Watch Gurus tweeted it. No, they haven't. So just before the stream, it got revealed that MicroStrategy has actually got a just over $1 billion USD. So obviously nothing to do with Bitcoin, but a $1 billion USD. I'm trying to find it now. Where is it? Yes, here it is. So they've established a $1.44 billion USD reserve to obviously have that cash on hand for the dividend payments that they have to make for the stock offerings. You know, like your STRF, your STRC, where is it? Sailor. Yeah, STRC, STRK, STRF, STRD, and STRE. So obviously they have to make dividend payments to all of them, but they've got the cash to do that. They've got a $1.44 billion pot to obviously pay their dividends and obviously keep on top of them, so they're not having to worry about obviously the MSTR price, and if they can borrow more money, if they can fund more money, depending on where MSTR and Bitcoin are. So that's actually really promising for the market, and obviously a way where really at the moment particularly you can't really FUD MSTR that much, because they've got the money to pay dividends. They've got obviously still some really good headroom in terms of where they are relative to the Bitcoin price. Still wouldn't really be the end of the world if Bitcoin dropped 10-20% below the entry price, but it's good that they've got the money there, because obviously from this standpoint they don't have to borrow any more money to make the dividend payments, which is obviously key for them, because it really does obviously kind of become a house of cards if they haven't got the money to pay the dividend payments, and then maybe MSTR and Bitcoin aren't in the best place for them to raise more money and stuff like that. So this is definitely a positive sign, and obviously is big for the market itself, because there shouldn't really be that many worries about MSTR now. But you will definitely see, you are right, short awakening, you'll definitely see plenty of FUD in some aspect. Do we have US data coming out? I will check. Hello, Nick. How are we doing? Make sure you do drop a like on the stream if you've just joined. Do get likes going. Hello, Wiz. How are we, my friend? Great to see you. And yeah, obviously, nice bounce back on Bitcoin within the past hour. And it's just kind of hovering around this region, isn't it? I think, obviously, depending on how US market opens, will obviously dictate where we're going next. If we come out, and there's every possibility that we don't have to trend in a direction. I think we will, given obviously what's happened in Asian market. But we could always go sideways, but I don't think we will. So yeah, obviously in futures the S&P is down 0.64%, and yeah, Bitcoin is down nearly 5%. So I think in terms of Bitcoin, what would be the concerning thing? I think that the main concern would be that obviously it's dumping very hard relative to obviously what's going on. So, the S&P is only down 0.6%, where Bitcoin is down nearly 5%. So it definitely puts it in a bit of a vulnerable position for if, say we got a really hard week in the markets, what happens to Bitcoin then? So I think it's it's definitely an interesting point. What I would say is, Stonksy's caught the drop down perfectly on the 1 hour. If you do want to get Stonksy, now is your last opportunity to get it with the annual discount. 50% off annual goes today. Obviously, it's Cyber Monday today. So if you do want to get Stonksy, 50% off. Last chance to get that. So yeah, I will put that in the description. Sorry, in the chat, not the description. Getting used to using two screens. I've got two screens running now. I've got an extra screen running, which is nice. So I've got the chat open on one side, and then obviously just everything else open on the other. But it's taken a bit of getting used to, because obviously normally I just run it off one screen. So yeah, it's nice having the chat open, because I can just read and see everything straight away. But yeah, that's where we're up to with that. Sol took an absolute hammering, didn't it? And for something obviously that was stronger on the way up. Obviously Sol was showing some great strength on the way up. This got absolutely hammered, didn't it? Particularly obviously losing value on the way down here, but I mean it got absolutely hammered there. And really, just back to the starting points, if you actually zoom out, things are just ranging, aren't they? If you zoom out on it, things are just ranging. Sol range bound, Bitcoin range bound, ETH range bound. ETH's actually down a bit worse than both Bitcoin and Sol today, down 5.5. XRP taking a hammering. I mean, everything has took a hammering on it. Hype is edging closer towards kind of that $25, $26 region. I am actually maybe shifting my target towards 20, depending on obviously what happens with Bitcoin. This thing is getting absolutely murdered. Absolutely murdered. But what I would say on ZEC is, so Scottish is making good money on ZEC. Short took from 420. Very nice, mate. Very nice. So you are short from up here. Yeah, very nice, mate. Love to see it. Powell speaking today. Yeah, I can't remember what time. We'll have a look what time he's speaking. I think the ZEC bubble's kind of popped now, hasn't it? If you go on here, that definitely looks like distribution to me anyway. That looks like distribution for sure. And then obviously now we've begun the markdown. And what I probably would expect at some point, whether it's from in and around here, this kind of 295 region looks quite nice, doesn't it, in terms of SR? But there's definitely possible maybe it drops in towards 200 and maybe tests where it obviously had support down here. But what I would expect in terms of market structure would be at some point, whether it's from here, let me turn that white, or from here, at some point you're going to get kind of like a complacency bounce, aren't you? And obviously we'll judge it from when it, maybe it looks like it's going to turn around, but then at some point, yeah, complacency bounce, lower high, and then carry on the markdown. Then, where would I be looking for ZEC? I'll be honest, I've just got no interest in buying it at all. Look at that call on Stonksy on the 4 hour there. That went green on it at $40, and then ended the green with over a 10x. 460. Obviously, plenty of opportunities to take money off the table up here as well, but then actually got into the red here at 460, and then has been riding it down. So look at that for a play. Yes, it didn't close at the highs, but you do have obviously your own judgments as well. You could have easily took some money off the table at $500, $600, $700. But Stonksy itself, yeah, over a 10x return on that 4 hour mark, and crucially, flipping out of the green into the red and catching this nasty drop. So yeah, down 20% today. But yeah, I think at some point, obviously, we'll have a complacency bounce and then continue its markdown. I think probably money is now rotating and maybe looking to rotate elsewhere. At the end of the day, we're just in a rotation market, aren't we? Because we're not really in any sort of trending market, apart from you could suggest to the downside. This thing, look at that on BNB as well. Look at the 4 hour on BNB there. That is phenomenal, isn't it? Look at that on a 4 hour on BNB. Absolutely phenomenal. From all the way down here, all the way up, and then down. Thanksgiving short was juicier than a turkey. Yeah, nice. Mix, we'll have a look at Mix. What's going on with Mix? Hey, Barros, how are we doing? Let's see. Am I expecting something interesting with Mix? Oh, look at some of these. Asta down 11. Apex has been completely ruined on it. I think kind of that perp dex narrative is just officially dead now, isn't it? Hopefully you milked some for what you can get out of it at the time, but I think kind of that whole perp dex narrative is dead. Pump getting hammered down 10% today, but again, you zoom out, if you're looking at it, say on the 1 hour or the 5 minute or the 10 minute or 15 minute, things will look absolutely horrific today. But if you actually just slap it on the 4 hour and zoom out, everything is actually, well, not everything, but for the most part, everything is just range bound, and obviously just coming back to test kind of towards the end of November where things bottomed originally. But yeah, things are just getting absolutely hammered. Let's see Mix anyway. Blue getting hammered. Oh, look at that, Wiz. Look at that 4 hour candle on Blue there. I don't know if that's an error or if that's right. Blue is one of the perp dex coins that me and Wiz got in on. Look at that. That can't be real, surely. Look at that. Wow. Things are just getting absolutely blasted, aren't they? They're just getting absolutely blasted. Wait. Oh, Aero. 60 cents. Look at E-Gold. Oh, my God. I'm trying to find Mix. I know it's around here somewhere. There it is, Mix. Oh, of course. Yeah, of course. This thing is green, of course. Why not? Why wouldn't it be? Why wouldn't it be when the market is bleeding? Why would this thing not be green? Typical. But yeah, things are taking a big beating today. Monad all the way back down. Look at that, Monad all the way back down. This has been a roller coaster ride for Monad, hasn't it? Did anyone actually get any Monad? I never got any in the end. Did anyone else? Let me know in the chat. Did you get any? But yeah, look at that. Look at that short there. Bloody hell. Stonksy, unbelievable. But yeah, do let me know in the chat. Have you been shorting anything? What have you been kind of doing over the weekend? Any thoughts about US Open today? I would probably say volatile. Would be my estimation. Yes. How are we doing? I recognise the profile picture. YouTube's done this thing now where it's put like the actual username instead of the display name on obviously the comments. So I recognise the picture, but I don't recognise the username. But I know that you used Z. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, yeah, man. How are you doing? Great to see you. Yeah, I mean the thing is, I don't think you'll ever kind of escape MSTR FUD, even when the facts are staring you in the face. You know, they're not buying whole lots anymore, are they? But I think the main takeaway is that they have a big USD reserve for dividend payments. Now, obviously, they want to, well, in my opinion anyway, whoever's in that board wants to make sure that Saylor doesn't get his hands on that dividend payment pot, because the last thing, obviously, they want to do is throw all that into Bitcoin and just kind of leave themselves open to whatever the market decides to do. But I think it's very, very good in terms of, you know, the safety of MSTR and its holdings, that they have this big pot. That's obviously a big pot and gives them a lot of room. Because you've got to remember, on a lot of these, they're paying like 10% on some, on these offerings. Some of them are paying 10%. I think some of them are variable rates, and then I think maybe one or two of them is like 8%. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure, but they're in and around 10, and then obviously if one or two of them are lower than that. So, you know, that probably gives them, I mean, I can't give you a figure for how many years, but I'm guessing it gives them some quite good runway for obviously making dividend payments over the next coming years. And also, you know, obviously just having cash on hand to pay back some of the debt that's obviously coming up over the next few years. Still quite a while away. I think there's one or two lots in 2027, but the main lots are in 2028 and then onwards. So, yeah, I mean, you'll always get MSTR FUD, I think, particularly when we're around the entry. You know, the fact that we are so close to the entry, we're not really that far away, are we? You know, the entry's probably just less than 75k now. It was here the other day. So they're only a 13% drop away. Let me change these lines to white, because obviously I've changed the colour of my background. Hang on. And let me change that. So yeah, when I put it on, which was I think about 2 weeks ago, the entry was 74,433. So I think for the time being, while we're so close to it, I think you can't really escape it, even though the facts are they're pretty safe. Even obviously if we get down and touch the entry or drop below, they're still pretty safe. So all the coins are for sale now. All what coins? All what coins? MSTR's coins? No, they're not selling. They're not selling anything. No. But yeah, Z, great to see you, mate. Great to see you. Do make sure, please drop a like on the stream if you haven't. We're only on 6 likes, so if we can get that up to 10 plus, that'd be great. So please do drop a like on the stream. But yeah, that's where we're up to with that. Now, obviously, for anyone that doesn't know what happened overnight, I will go and pull up the great article posted on the CSE page. As Japan's bond yields hit a 16-year high, liquidity shock could fuel crypto sell-off. So Japan's 10-year yield hit the highest level since 2008, threatening the yen carry trade and possibly contributing to crypto's sharp weekend sell-off. So the 10-year bond yield hit 1.86%. Rising yields threaten the yen carry trade, a decades-long source of deep global liquidity. Analysts say I can't say that word, of capital could drain risk markets, including crypto. Japan holds $1.1 trillion in US treasuries, making the timing especially dangerous for the US fiscal outlook. So obviously we've seen, what happened overnight. Obviously these have been moving up over the past few weeks. I know obviously Wiz has covered them in the Discord servers. We've also looked at them on stream a little bit as well. But basically, you know, this is kind of where the match got lit, particularly overnight on the overnight move. You know, this is where the match got lit for causing the sell-off and obviously the sharp decline. But this is nothing new. Obviously, you know, if you've been around for a while, you'll remember the August 2024 crash where the Nikkei dropped 8% in a session and Bitcoin dropped below $50,000. And then obviously from then on, we went up, and the kind of the concern around the Japanese market fizzled away then. But obviously this is reaching a point of a point of concern for sure, you know, when you're looking at the kind of whole macro outlook. And I think the main takeaway is that regardless of obviously what position Bitcoin and crypto are in, we are always at the mercy of the TradFi markets. So, you know, obviously the Nikkei started it all. The S&P, you know, in futures followed, and then of course crypto just got slammed. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at with looking at that. At the end of the day as well, if you don't understand it all, or you know, you kind of like not really too bothered by it all, again, just look at the Bitcoin chart. You know, often things will line up perfectly. You know, last week we was obviously talking about, you know, a sweep of these lows, maybe even this low, which has now been taken thanks to the past hour candle. And we were looking at that for obviously some sort of potential higher low being put in. Now, is this the higher low? We don't know. You know, there's every chance maybe we go a little bit more down, maybe test in and around these levels. Anything is, of course, possible moving into this week. But, you know, that was definitely something that we were looking for towards the end of last week, was a correction back down. And, of course, Stonksy timed it beautifully. We've got Trading for Life says the bull market is over. I think there's definitely a very good case to be built to say that is true. Yeah, I think there's definitely a very good case now to be built to say that is true. I think it's definitely going to take time and a lot of effort and buy-in. So obviously push Bitcoin even back up into territory where you would say, okay, it's in a position to maybe flip back bullish. Afternoon, James. This price doing this so odd on the smaller time frames. Yeah, I think Bitcoin is just trading very strange, just in general. I mean, look at that. That is just brutal, isn't it? Like, that is literally like the staircase to hell. That is like not even a staircase, is it? We didn't even go staircase. We just went full slide to hell. I mean, that is literally just like climbing up to the top of the slide, and then you go whee. Literally just we're gonna just nickname it this day, Monday the 1st of December 2025. This is the slide to hell. Like, just stood on top here. Here's the slide. Let's get a little person if we can. Is there any little people on emojis? We get a little person. Yeah, here he is. Let's get a little person. Here's James. Here's James. Works out quite well because the guy looks ginger too. There's James. So here's James, just casually, you know, just enjoying his weekend. There we go, right? So James just enjoying his weekend, just, you know, going on. Saturday comes, maybe having a few beers, doing whatever, who knows. Sunday comes, he's watching Chelsea and Arsenal. Arsenal playing shit. You go, right, well, weekend's over, better get to bed. Oh, wait, I'm slipping. Wait, there's a slide there. Whee! There you go. So that's what happened to James over the weekend. He went whee down slide, the slide to hell, and now James is hang on. Hang on. I hate how there's no search option on this emoji. I hate how there's no search option. I'm looking for the devil. There is a devil emoji, isn't there? But I don't know where it is. Is that it? Yeah. There you go. So now James is in hell after falling down the slide to hell on the Bitcoin ramp, and he's now with the devil. So yeah, there we go. Hope you like that little illustration and fun. Less of the Arsenal criticism. We had to play with 10 men away. Mate, I think Chelsea are a really good team. I mean, Casado is just like, he's always a bit of a loose cannon, isn't he? He's always loving flying into challenges and stuff. I think it would have been a great game had it been 11v11, and I think he definitely would have got beat. So you're lucky to get out with over points, I think. That's probably the way that I would look at it anyway. Lucky to get out with over points, and obviously that's the visit to Stamford Bridge over. Another away, tough away day done. Don't worry, we'll get a stairway to heaven next. Do you think? So anyway, yeah, that was James's weekend visit to the staircase of hell. Currently, we are still there with the market because Stonksy is still red on the hourly from $91,500. Now, yeah, I mean, I think look at some of these. It's crazy, innit? I mean, yeah, Zach's just getting absolutely brutal. Sui, obviously, those talking about Sui, we were looking at Sui last week, wasn't we? Sui, maybe one more drop. Dot, $2. Everyone that watches the streams frequently knows that I love to hate on Dot. Everyone that watches the streams know I love to hate on Dot. Dot's coming to fill in this wick, whether you like it or not. Dot's coming to fill in this wick at some point over the next 2 years, whether you like it or not. Look at that. It's just shambolic, innit? But yeah, I mean, the overall outlook on the market just is, of course, things are just getting smashed. Things are just getting smashed, which you would expect on a day where Bitcoin is down 5%. So I don't think it's nothing new. I mean, Stonksy probably hitting some great ones on the hourly. What is going on actually with these? I haven't checked these pre-market. So MSTR actually isn't even down that bad, really. It's obviously similar to Bitcoin, where it's just visiting towards its lows. Coinbase is down 4%. Circle had a great day on Friday, didn't it? That was a great reversal on Circle on Friday. Down 3%, so again, not too bad on Circle. Bitcoin is more Hotel California. We can never leave. Yeah, that's true. When next Three Wise Men, love that show. Wiz, are you still in the chat? I'll have to ask Wiz. I don't know when the next Three Wise Men will be because Wiz is now on board with CSE / obviously some work on Stonksy as well. I think what am I saying? She's now on board full time. So yeah, I don't know whether that will obviously clash with what he's doing in terms of that time, but I do assume probably it will be back at some point. I don't know if Wiz is still in the chat or not. But yeah, so that's obviously what we're looking at with Bitcoin, and it should be a very interesting US Open. Now, I'm surprised Nick hasn't been on my back yet to get the poll out. So I've got one over on you there, Nick. Got one over on you there, mate. Didn't even get chance to remind me about the poll. James says we do have bullish divergence on the hourly after that dump retest. Is that true? Yeah, I mean, I think if it really, because at the end of the day, all this is doing is potentially testing for obviously a higher low, isn't it? That's all it's doing at the moment. We're just testing for a higher low. We had the low, we've then had a high. If you want to see it obviously a bit more concise, you can see it on the 4 hour. So we've had the low, we've had an original high, we've had a higher low. Now, what will be obviously key is if this is a higher low, then obviously at some point we'll come in for a higher high, which will then obviously break the downtrend properly, because despite obviously the rally last week, we still haven't really broken any sort of downtrend. We haven't even took out these highs yet. I'm pretty sure that one didn't even get taken on this push up here. And obviously we're yet to make a move on any of them. So I think, yeah, in relation to that, we are we're not really broken any market structure yet, but obviously this has the potential to line up quite nicely with a market structure break if this is, turns out to be a higher low. But maybe that lines up with what James is looking at. But yeah, apart from that, I mean, what else is going on now? Obviously, something I covered on Friday, which is what I'll cover today as well, is that when you look at the Bitcoin monthly returns, there is actually a bit of a pattern, or a little bit of a trend anyway, where currently, obviously, we've had red October, red November, currently sat in a red December. Now, we haven't had 3 red months in a row. So there's a bit of conflicting interest. A view on this. Do let me know in the chat what you guys think against these two, because one points to the fact that we may finish December green, and one actually points to the fact that we may finish December red. Now, the last time we had 3 red months in a row was mid-2022, April, May, June. Obviously, brutal months in 2022. So obviously 3.5 years ago. Long time, really long time. But that was the last time we had 3 monthly red candles in a row. Obviously, currently we are on track for that, with December currently already being -5%, but plenty of time to turn that around. So that's point one. Is the data suggests if this month was to turn red, it's obviously something that hasn't occurred in a while, where we have 3 red months in a row. However, so that points to either the fact of, you think that we're bound, we're due to maybe get this 3 red months in a row for the first time in ages, or you think, right, the trend says obviously we haven't done that in over 3 years, so this month will turn green. What I would say to that is, on the counter, is if you look in the previous years, when we've had a red November, so red November 2022, red December, red November 2021, red December, red November 2019, red December, red November 2018, red December. You can see the pattern there, can't you? In the fact of when we get a red November, a red December always follows, and always has, going back to 2013, which is actually pretty interesting, because that is an even, that is a really long trend. That's a trend of 12 years. Whenever you get a red November, a red December has followed in, previous years. So you've got these two conflicting trends for monthly returns. You've got the one where we haven't had 3 red months in a row in 3.5 years. We'd currently be on track for that if December closed red. So, the trend from this point onwards suggests 2 red months and then a green month. But then you also then go and look at, okay, well, when you've had a red November, you've always had a red December from 2013 onwards. And obviously currently, that would fit. Currently, last November, the one just closed is red. So December, red. What comes first? New all-time high, or Bitcoin back into the 60s? I would probably say, just my view personally. Again, this is obviously just my view on the market. I would say the latter. I would say Bitcoin into the 60s. For what comes first. Personally, I've not been bullish on the market since like 115k. Don't know if you seem like you watch wise men a lot, Trading for Life. So I think there was an episode in kind of like mid-October-ish, when I said that I thought that the cycle high was in, and then obviously since then we've just gone down only, basically. So yeah, I could still be proved wrong on thinking that the cycle high is not in, obviously with a cycle high coming. But currently what we've got is obviously a scenario where you could actually, if you wanted to, not to say it's correct or whatever, but from obviously where we've sold off, you could actually, if you wanted to, view it, say the cycle high is in, and we're maybe in the early stage of a bear market until the market proves you wrong. So basically that's what you could adopt as well, is that you could just say, obviously you would prefer to be bullish if you want, you could prefer to be bullish and optimistic on the market, but you think that obviously playing defensive or whatever. You think the cycle high is in until the market shows you otherwise. Now, how would the market show you otherwise? I think really the market would probably show us otherwise, in my view, for recapturing 108k. I think that would then obviously put us in a good spot. Maybe go back to trading in this range here where we did for the majority of this time, minus of course that pump up to all-time high there. I think you re-enter 100, you get back above 108k, you then trade all the way up to 116k range bound, which then obviously gives you some points the potential to get a nice impulse breakout and then obviously go for all-time high. So I think for me, I'm obviously just going to play either a continued downtrend or a reversal until /if we get to a point where we recapture 108k. I would love to obviously see a test. I would love to see. So for me, what's what? Yearly open, obviously, is acting as SR. So these are kind of like low time frame liquidity areas. For me, like a proper test of in and around 100k will be key for either that or obviously moving up towards 108. But yeah, you can definitely play both sides. You don't really have to pick a side. You don't have to pick. I think the top is in, and we're in a bear market, or I think we're going higher, we're in a bull market. You don't really have to pick a side. You can just kind of let the chart do the business for you, and kind of say, okay, what do I think about this chart? Okay, well, this would be bullish, this would be bearish, and then just kind of just play it by ear. That's obviously really the only way you can do it, and it's hard to do. And obviously, this is one of the really good things about having Stonksy is it's obviously sometimes hard to let go of your bias and kind of let the trading opportunities and the market make you money. Because, if you say you hold only a bullish bias, you don't want to short. If you hold only a bearish bias from now on, maybe you miss a reversal or maybe even a run to new highs. The best way to be is kind of just open to any opportunity. Have your opinions, hold them loosely perhaps. But obviously something like Stonksy, even if you was bullish here, you think, oh, okay, Stonksy's gone in the red. Maybe even you just close your longs, even if you don't short, whatever. But obviously this just kind of removes your bias in the market. But for now, Bitcoin's ticking back up nicely. The S&P's just kind of hanging around. Of course, we've got 35 minutes until that opens. So we'll definitely be seeing what's what soon. And I think it's set to be a very interesting open for sure. But do let me know in the chat. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Make sure, of course, you drop a like as well. What likes are we on? 11 likes, not bad, not bad. Let's get this up. If we can get it up towards 15, I'd be very happy then. Get up towards 15, I won't ask again this stream. So there's 4 people. There must be 4 people that are watching this. Please do drop a like. And yeah, I won't ask again. But yeah, you guys let me know in the chat. What do you think? Do you think we're still in a bull market? Do you think we're in a bear market? Get your opinions in. What's the vote doing so far? So 78% thinking that we're going up. Three-day liquidity got took out to the downside. Let's see what the 1 week's looking like. Yeah, this just ran through downside liquidity, basically, didn't it? This just ran through downside liquidity. Grabbed it there, grabbed it there, grabbed it here. It's been a good liquidity grab on the 1 week outlook. Let's see about the 2 week. plenty to chew through to the upside. So obviously that's looking towards them liquidity levels that I mentioned then, kind of yearly open towards, 96, 97k, these liquidity areas before we get like a proper SR test around 100k. Yo, Stu, how are we doing, mate? Great to see you. Barros thinks USA will tear Asian markets apart by buying this dip. And Nick says bear market, but we will see a Santa rally. I mean, yeah, if we get Santa rally, that would be if you're in. If you let me start again. If you're of that opinion, then a Santa rally would obviously be a gift because it would give you a chance to obviously offload anything you haven't had chance to or didn't, but also maybe enter like a swing short position then as well. So for sure, that I think if you're in that mind frame that we're in a bear market, then a Santa rally is exactly what you want to obviously get rid of any remaining holdings or enter some swing short positions. When Dave market, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would like to see a Santa rally. I would love to see kind of the upside explored, and then be able to obviously kind of fade some on the way back. What I would say is, if you go back to the daily, so this is where the views are really conflicting because we're maybe at the stages of either a trend shift or trend continuation. Because what you would say is, when you look at the daily, this has obviously the optics for maybe just being another lower high. This downtrend was so fast and aggressive, it didn't give a chance for another lower high to form like we got here. So you obviously had high, then a lower high here, lower high here. But you didn't really have chance for anything down here because it was so fast and aggressive to sell off. So this obviously is the potential for to be a lower high, and obviously then look for a lower low, maybe around mid 70s towards Sailor's entry. That would be a lower low. That's obviously looking at it on the daily. But then, of course, you do zoom down to the lower time frames, like the 4 hour or the hourly, and then you see a potential higher low being put in. So the market will resolve it one way or another. And we know then, for instance, if this low doesn't get taken out, for the time being that this low doesn't get taken out, you can definitely adopt the fact that maybe the low is in, and we're maybe obviously then pushing towards a recovery rally. Of course, if at any point this low gets taken out, then technically, we're still in a downtrend then. So yeah, it's a really important point that we're at the moment for the market, because this has the potential to either be continuation on the daily or lower time frame, then evolve to something where we come up, we break this high, which then breaks market structure, and then suddenly you've got a low, you've then got a higher low, and then obviously come up for a higher high, and then that's obviously then market structure break. So yeah, very interesting for sure, very interesting. No doubt, the next kind of 2-3 weeks will be fun, kind of towards mid-December, and then cool off for Christmas perhaps. But yeah, do make sure you drop a like on the stream. Got the hiccups. Do make sure you drop a like on the stream. Nice hat, by the way. Thank you. It's a very nice knitted Santa hat, Very nice knitted Santa hat. Feels nice on the head. I'm going to get Christmas songs on. I forgot to do. I'm going to make a playlist of good Christmas songs, and I'm going to play that on stream instead. I bet you've had the tree up since early November too. No, I can't, mate. I'm in the process of like moving house and everything. It's an absolute nightmare. So this year's just like a write-off in terms of like decorations and everything. Like I'm literally due to get the key. I've been due to get the keys for the past month to the new place. So this year's just like a complete write-off when it comes to Christmas decorations, really. But next year I'm going to go really big. Next year I'm going to go really big, yeah. But yeah, that's kind of like what we're looking at for altcoins. I mean, yeah, altcoins are just decimated, aren't they? They're just completely decimated. Over in memes, what have we got? Altcoin remaining quite strong, to be fair, just down 2% today. That's had a good reversal the past few hours, hasn't it? That's pushed back up. This is obviously one of the stronger ones. The SPX 6900 is having a bit of a drop off. Of course, this had a really good reversal as well. But in general, do you know what's really interesting? I think because memes have took such a hammering, if you look at memes a lot, if you look at kind of like the daily on memes, I think kind of you're definitely not at the point where memes are just completely can't go down anymore. Definitely not at that point at all. But what you would say on memes is they are now performing, obviously on a day like today where Bitcoin's minus 5%, you would typically think memes would be getting decimated like 20, 25%, whatever. And some of them are, FWOG down 18, Brett down 13. But when you actually look across like the main ones and like these, they're not really that different to normal altcoins. Normal altcoin performance. Look at the state of these. So it's actually an interesting point in the market where either this is obviously strength in the meme sector again. Maybe like full rotation out of privacy. We haven't had meme strength and obviously a meme season for a while again now. When was the last kind of runner from the trenches onto an exchange and then that going to like 500 million, 1 billion, whatever? We haven't had one of them at all in what feels like so long. So maybe either this is strength in the meme sector relative to the market, but the fact a lot of them are just kind of keeping the same drawdowns, or memes have just been sold into that much that obviously there's not really like that many sellers in terms to bring them down to them really like deep numbers. Pengu is going to new lows though. Obviously that is exploring now lows lower than last week. Pengu's one I'm quite interested in. I just kind of like just not really that bothered about it yet. But obviously it's been a good while since we had like strength in memes. You look at Fartcoin, obviously since July on all memes we've been selling off. Asta got pummeled, great price now. Yeah, Asta's been pummeled. What happened to Inge, says Scotty? I don't actually know. Let's see. Inge was a heavily VC invested coin. I know it's on here somewhere. Where is it? Has it been absolute? I bet it's been that. I haven't looked at Inge in ages. $5. Yeah, this was a big VC coin. This had like a lot of VC backing, and obviously in turn a lot of unlocks, and a lot of obviously people that was 100, 200, 300, maybe even 1,000x up from their seed round investment. So this had obviously the run up from here, obviously from like around $1, $1.50, whatever, up towards 30 to 40, $50 within around a year, just over a year. So big returns, and obviously yeah, for like kind of the VC funded part of it, would have been, or maybe even thousands of X's. Oh, my camera's zoomed in. Hang on. So I think really now, like, yeah, this thing maybe is like just one of them where it just slowly dies. I don't know, can't confirm it, can't obviously put anything to that. But what you can say is the chart looks horrific, can't you? And is there like any actual genuine strength in there? What I would say is coming in towards where that wick stopped, definitely on the weekly. You can see there we're coming maybe back into testing that area here. This area of reaccumulation before breakout again. That's kind of like the last hurrah, I would say, probably around like $3 to $4 before full retracement back down towards $1, which sounds crazy, but I mean, I look at that. This chart has been in a downtrend for coming up to 2 years, hasn't it? March 24 was where it peaked, and it's just been in a downtrend ever since. We're in December now, so it's not that too far off from being 2 years of downtrend, just slow downtrend. But yeah, it's basically it was. I know for a fact it was a heavily VC invested coin, which you would think, actually, to be fair, I don't know whether they'll still be getting unlocks or not, but definitely, from kind of the original sell-off was probably catalyzed by a lot of them. I'm going. Let's see. It's just doing this thing again. You can see my orange there. Hang on. I'll be back in a second. Again, the thing is in a very, very high time frame downtrend. You may see, because really, if you look at it the weekly, what have you got? You've just got higher lows and lower highs and lower lows. I mean, you've got the high, you've then got the low, you've then got a lower high, lower low, lower high. It's now coming in for a lower low somewhere. So, from here, if I'm correct, and it comes down into here, maybe you then maybe get like a kind of 3, 4, maybe even 5x up towards another lower high, which I probably would say would come in the form of anywhere in and around there. Looking at, obviously, supply there. Either that or it shifts market structure and then goes on an uptrend again. But I mean, where's the strength coming from for something like this that at the end of the day just got milked? And it's the same for a lot of these coins, not Inge alone. I mean, you look at Sui. I mean, look at the state of Sui. You look at Sui. I'm kind of looking at Sui. If it ended up getting down there, I don't know if it will or not, but that's kind of like my ultimate place on Sui to say, right, you're testing SR now, show strength, or you're toast. And there's a lot of these coins, there's a lot of these, isn't there, on the charts? Link, my beloved Link, still holding quite nicely, but even Link, if things get really bad, it's coming back for a test of $8 if things get really bad. Link, my beloved Link. I need to make my lines white on Link because I love Link. Can't even see them, really. So is that all of them? For now, yeah. Let's get rid of these because these don't even need to be up there anymore. Because we're not going to go back up there for a while, I don't think. So yeah, yeah. Just a tough time, and it's just a tough time in the market. But at some point, the good thing is regardless of whether you think that we're in a bull market or a bear market, doesn't really matter, because at some point, if you cast your mind back to this was an epic time in the market. I thought this was an epic time in the market. This whole complacency bounce here, I thought was epic. Altcoins got some really good returns. I remember I bought some e-gold down here towards the lows, and just off this Bitcoin move, which was, what was that Bitcoin move? So yeah, 25%. Yeah, I remember my e-gold went up 50% during that time, which is kind of what you would expect on a 25% Bitcoin pump in it. But at some point, you'll either get something like this, or you will get obviously like a full recovery bounce. I mean, look, oh yeah. So Bitcoin is now pushing back up quite nicely after that. So maybe that definitely gives premise that was liquidation, perhaps. That definitely maybe gives the opportunity for this candle to be liquidation before maybe a push back to the upside. But yeah, whether you think there's more down to come or not or whatever, at some point, whether it's from here or whether we have to come down lower first or whatever, you will get some form of recovery / complacency bounce, whichever one it is. Obviously, whichever one it is, you would label for whether you think the market is still ongoing or over. But yeah, at some point there will actually be quite a good time in the market, and that even if in the snow we're now in a bear market, if you just adopt that theory that we're in a bear market now, we will actually see a nice bounce at some point. Have you seen MicroStrategy? Yes, yeah, very good. I think that's very good for the market. I think that's good for the market. I think that's good for MicroStrategy, and it's good to obviously put some stability around the whole MicroStrategy position. I'm looking at ARB or something like Inge for spot buy. Could make it easy 2x or 3x sell on the way up if we recover. Potentially, yeah. Potentially. I mean, all we need is obviously a Bitcoin push up in it. Bitcoin does 15-20% from here. Then, particularly some altcoins will have a really good time of it. It's just obviously when are we going to get that? That candle is bullish divergence candle I was talking about. I'm super confident of a recovery pump. Yeah, I mean, I think that looks good. I mean, that was my area. This is what I marked out last week, wasn't it? This was my area to come and clear out, obviously, these wicks, but then ultimately that one, which that candle has done now. That's cleared out that. So that was my area that I was looking at. So we'll see what we get on open, and then go from there. But I think you may be right, James. Yeah, I think it's definitely looking quite nice. The potential's there. Just need to see what TradFi do as well, don't we? I mean, this is the S&P's pumping up, push it a little bit, moving into obviously open. So yeah. What I am going to do though, I am going to go to the toilet. So I will leave you obviously with the chart, and I will be back in a few minutes. So yeah, don't go anywhere. There we go. Don't go anywhere. I will be back in a few minutes. Just go to the toilet, and yeah, in the meantime, chill out, get a drink, go to the toilet, whatever. And yeah, we'll be obviously on for US Open. So if you haven't already, do drop a like, subscribe. If you do want to join Stonksy, today is your last day to get 50% off the annual. So it's the last chance to do it. It is over after today. So annual, obviously 50% off takes it just under £500. That is Black 50. So Black 50, Black in capitals 50. Code is pinned in the chat in the description. So this is your last chance to get it for 50% off today. So do check that out. Of course, if you wanted to be joined Stonksy, today's your last chance to grab that annual discount. And yeah, I'll be back in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. Hey, right, I'm back. Ho, ho, ho. Ho, ho, ho. What's everyone's favourite Christmas songs? Do let me know in the chat. What is your favourite Christmas song? I just nearly choked. Bloody hell. What is your favourite Christmas song? Do let me know. What's all this? So you're getting a bit of absorption there on Bitcoin now. I'm going to close the poll. So the poll, bloody hell, that swung back the other way, didn't it? So the poll ended with up 59% being the vote. So that is oh, look who it is. Oh, look who it is. Santa Claus. Mr. Delta. How we doing? Could get, to be fair, we could. Do you want me to put some Christmas songs on now? I could put some on now if you guys want. Should we have some on now? Should we be little devils and start the 1st of November off well? Let me know if you want them. I could definitely put them on now if you want. We could take requests as well all December. Well, not all December. Once Christmas is over, then it's over, innit? I don't carry it on into the new year. What was I doing? Right. Yeah, right, that's it, isn't it? I need to get... Yeah, get it on. All right. All right, get it on. I need to sign into my Apple ID. Am I on? No? Hang on. There we go. Let me know what Christmas songs you want on. We're going to get them on now. If this bloody loads, anyway. Why is it asking me to verify this payment? Some Christmas music to cheer the market. Oh, well, yeah, let's do it. I'm just doing it now, but I'm trying to get Apple Music back. I don't really use it much. So I cancelled it a few months ago, but I thought I'd get it back for December, which I'm now doing. But it wanted me to verify me resubscribing to it. Got 3 months. Tell you what, if you haven't got Apple Music and you're looking to get it back for over Christmas, this just gave me an offer. You get 3 months for the price of one. So I got 3 months for 11 quid. It's not bad. Right, I've got it. So let me turn this background music off. Hang on. So turn that off, and what we'll do is we will load up Apple Music and we'll get it on. So be excited. Right, let's see. So Christmas essentials. There we go. Right, let's start off with a bit of this one. Let me know if you can hear that. Let me know if you guys can hear that. Can you hear this? Let me know if you can hear it. You should be able to. And let me know if it's too loud. I feel like that's too loud. You can't. You should be able to hear that. Yeah, you can hear it, yeah. Right. Is it too loud or is it too quiet? Oh, it will get copyright. Well, it doesn't matter. All it does is just mean that it demonetizes the stream. It literally don't matter. That's too. Is it too quiet? That. Are you sure that's too quiet? You can't hear it. Hang on then. Yeah, I think. Hang on. Well, I can hear it. I can't really turn it up louder than that, I don't think. What I'll have to do is maybe I'd have to put it on my mic, perhaps. Sorry, on my phone, and like put my phone close to the mic. Could you not really hear that at all? No. I don't really want to turn it louder than that because it'd be quite loud. For just generally being in here. Let me think. What can I do? What could I put it on? Tell you what, hang on. Let me see. Essential Christmas. Is that better? Is that better? Let me know. Let me know if that's any better. Let me know if you can hear that or not. Ten out of 10 for effort. I'm trying. Can you hear that? One day. Well, what I'm trying to do is I was putting it on my thingy, on my phone instead of my Mac. So what about that? Let me know if that's any better. Let me know if that's any better. 2 out of 10 for execution. I'm trying. A double bottom is better or worse for Bitcoin? Well, I mean, any sort of bottom would be good, yeah. So I'm guessing maybe you're thinking about this. Like, I don't think I wouldn't really consider that a double bottom, to be honest. Yeah, right. What I'll do is I'll put the normal background music on and I'll try and fix it for next stream. and try and come up with some sort of plan. If you could let me know how much you could hear it from that standpoint on, then yeah. Why not? Why would I not consider this a double bottom? Because we've not really I wouldn't say really we're like any sort of. We're still quite a way away from testing the actual bottom, aren't we? So for me, like a double bottom would be kind of like what we got here in March and April, where you get like first low and then you get another low put in and around it. Now, this one obviously took out, the previous one. It doesn't have to do that, even if it would have came down to here, and then gone. It doesn't actually have to take out the previous low. Obviously, on this instance, we did, and that was kind of like a really nice double bottom there. Why wouldn't I consider this a double bottom? Is because you're still quite a way away. You're still a 6% move away from the low. I would consider this just a higher low instead. So I wouldn't consider it a double bottom. I would consider it a higher low instead on the 1 hour. On the 1 hour. I don't really know. I'll be honest. I don't really know how effective that would be. Like, really, I would just be looking at just some, regardless of like it being a double bottom, I would just be looking at just a higher low to be put in, just a higher low than anything else. So just a higher low, and then obviously then go here. So not really bothering about a double bottom being in, or if it comes in for the bloody triple bottom or whatever. Like, the main thing really would be this being a higher low on the 1 hour, but the grand scheme of things in terms of the actual move. So I think that's more important than this being a double bottom on the 1 hour, is really just having some form of higher low put in. So obviously low, you then got a higher low. So yeah, that's probably what I would say. Bitcoin's recovering while the S&P is going down. Now we've got 1 minute. Oh, we've got 1 minute to go. Let me get this up and running. Hang on. Where are we? There. Right. Oh, we've got 15 seconds. Bloody. All right, that's the 1 minute, so that's fine. Bitcoin. Let's go down to the 1 minute. Here we go. Get ready to blow your socks off in 3, 2, 1. There we go. So we've got the opening bell there. And yeah. Okay, I'm in USA today. Should I call the market to go up? Yeah, mate. Do the work. Do the work. Whereabouts are you? Whereabouts in USA are you? Very nice, mate. Enjoy. So far the S&P is pushing up. Bitcoin is dropping down a little bit. Obviously, very low time frame, just a 1 minute time frame. But yeah, so far, Chicago today, nice. Never been to Chicago. I've actually never been anywhere in the US apart from Vegas. Went to Vegas a couple of years ago, and that's the only place I've ever been to apart from a connecting flight in Atlanta. I've never been to anywhere else in the US. I would love to do a tour when I'm older, like full RV, and just spend 5-6 months just driving around America, not doing Route 66 or anything. I'd literally just want to just drive around loads of America. But yeah, Bitcoin is taking a dump now, back down towards 86k. Mate, I had such a good time. What I would say as well is it is exactly how it appears on films and stuff, is what I would say. It's one of them places where it's actually just the same as it's made out on films and stuff, I would say anyway. Hello, Florin. Good afternoon to you. How are you doing? Yeah, Bitcoin's taking a hit to the downside on open. The S&P is just kind of hanging around. Yeah, this is just kind of hanging around. Quite an interesting open, really, because we've not had too much movement. We've not had typical Monday again. Yeah, we've not really had too much movement. Generally, things are looking quite interesting, aren't they? ETH down almost 6%. Sol's taking another dive as well. So the market could get really interesting, because obviously what is happening at the moment is dominance dropped off initially today, but obviously that is climbing back up now. Dominance is climbing back up now. It's positive on the day, which is obviously forcing others down lower. So like Sol and ETH, Sol was only down 4.5% before. That's down another percent. ETH is now closer to being 6% down. So we're in quite a really interesting situation here. Bitcoin is pushing on up though. So we are pushing on up on Bitcoin. Oh, just hiccuped. Let's go and have a look at the solo chart. Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin's lining up for maybe a squeeze. It's looking like it wants to squeeze, doesn't it? It's looking like it. I mean, what will be interesting is what we get for the rest of the day. This again was another good buy, wasn't it? Around 16. That again was another good buy on the VIX around 16. Because we are obviously only just on open, aren't we? But Bitcoin, yeah, squeezing up. Squeezing on up. But yeah, I think today definitely has the possibility to bring some great volatility. And yeah, not really any sort of bad reaction on the S&P compared to obviously what happened overnight. Not initially anyway. We are only in the depths of the 5 minutes, the first 5 minutes. But generally, nothing really going on. Yeah, Bitcoin is squeezing now. Really starting to squeeze. Is anyone long? Are you staying up for the Powell speech, Dave? No. What time is it on? I know 8 p.m. Eastern time. Bloody hell, no. That's like 1 o'clock, isn't it? It's like 12, 1 o'clock our time. No way. No, I won't be. What I am interested in though is obviously the expectation is a decrease. I am slightly interested in taking the contrarian view now. Obviously, it's very, very expected. This would just be literally just a hedge, and obviously just somewhat of a, just try my luck really. But I would maybe be interested in maybe taking a no change just to see what happens. I mean, it's only 11%, so it's obviously not very well expected, but anything can happen. Yeah, there we go, squeezing up. Scotty is long on Jasmine. Oh, mate, I haven't traded that in ages, Jasmine. Used to look at that on the streams a lot. You're long from E from 2809. Nice entry, yeah. Could be worth it. I mean, at the end of the day, it'd just be a hedge, wouldn't it? Especially going into the speech today. It could say anything, couldn't it? I wonder how obviously what's going on in Japan will affect what the Fed is thinking as well. You got 9 days to go until until the actual meeting. Yeah. So I am thinking about doing that maybe today. I'll obviously let you guys know how I get on if I take it. It won't be anything much. It would literally just be like $100, $200. But I mean, $200 on that would be great, wouldn't it? I mean, that would be absolutely fantastic. Even at $100, if that comes in $100 into 900, what else can you get a 9x on in the next 9 days? So yeah, again, it may go to zero. Nothing may happen with it, but I am definitely interested in maybe just hedging. Because I mean, look how we've seen them switch and flick so quickly, haven't we? You just never know. So we'll definitely see. But so far, Bitcoin not really doing much. I mean, I think Sol and ETH look like they're getting nice pushes up again a little bit. But I mean, in general, the market is very, very, very bloody, isn't it? Like very red. Yeah, Asta back under $1. That is getting hammered. That's just been kind of just walked down again, hasn't it? Walked up and then walked down. And some of these sells are brutal, aren't they? I wonder actually what is the worst hit. Should we have a look what's been hit the worst? Let's see. Over the past 24 hours. So Mix, of course, is up, of course. There's nothing actually. That shows how bad it is. There's nothing really up in the past 24 hours apart from Mix and JST, whatever that is. The rest are stable coins or gold. Now, what's been hit the worst? Zcash, Celestia down 16%, Pump 14%. Obviously, this is taking a different time zone because obviously on Tradinview, these are slightly different. Pump's only down 10 on Tradinview, so slightly different results for obviously the time frame in which CoinMarketCap takes for what is classed as 24 hours. Unless it'll be taken from this time yesterday, actually, I'm guessing, won't it? Oh, God knows, who knows. Sui, Asta. I mean, look at how many things are in double digit downtrend. You've got all these in the top 100 that are double digit downtrend, and then you've got loads in 9. I mean, look at this, all 9, 8. Crazy. So it's a proper sea of red out there, isn't it? It's blood on the streets for sure. Yeah, I mean, Zek been absolutely hammered on it. Bitcoin just reversing that open pump now. The S&P reversing that open pump. Yeah, so heading back to the downside now. Heading back to the downside. I mean, look at that. The walk down that is happening on Bitcoin when it accelerates to the downside is crazy. And obviously this one initially the slide to hell, but then even this one that we got just before, it's just the walk down is crazy. Like the grip that sellers have on the market. Do make sure you drop a like on the stream if you haven't. Please do like the stream. Very much appreciated by myself. Well, we got great likes today, so thank you for that. Do you think 86k became support for Bitcoin? You could definitely treat it as that, yeah. Yeah, you could definitely not 86k. I would just kind of treat this region here. I think it's difficult in it because it's such low time frame. Like it's such low time frame, and we smashed to the downside again. But you could definitely treat kind of this like 85.5 plus minus a couple of $100. Obviously, I've got this area highlighted because that was taken from the left. But you know, lower time frame wise, you could definitely just kind of take that because obviously that would then pull out over to there. I would account for some volatility as to why I'd choose like not a singular level. I'd choose like a region, a zone, because you could definitely just we could chop around in here for maybe the next few hours or whatever. So, but I think obviously you've got a low to hold now. You've got this low here to hold. So obviously just having demand down in here, down towards 85, is obviously important. So, I mean, really, what we want is some of these red background stuff. I mean, look at Stonksy went red on the 10-minute up here as well, and they are still open. So, yeah. I mean, really, you look at Bitcoin, everything, but the single most important thing today will be what does the S&P do next. That will be it. It will be what does the S&P do next? Because if the S&P holds up or pushes back up, then it's all good in terms of Bitcoin's stance. If the S&P dumps, then we are gonna go with it. So yeah, it's just you really want to have one eye on TradFi markets. I would say you really want to have one eye on TradFi markets. It's going to be key. It's going to be key to dictating where we go next. We're already down 5% today off a small dip in TradFi. So, but it's not the end of the world. You see some nice push coming in on the S&P here. And you see, look, straight away. Look at that, straight away. You saw that then, didn't you? $200, bang, straight up higher on that. As soon as the S&P started pushing there, you're seeing Bitcoin, then $200, bang, flex back up. So you do really want to have one eye on TradFi because it's basically just Bitcoin is at its mercy, just waiting to see what will happen next. It's going to be probably a long day, because we are still only in the first 15 minutes. So really, we'll see what the actual session brings after the first half an hour or so. But yeah, I think that's kind of where it's at. We could stare at the Bitcoin chart all day and we could say, well, it should bounce here or this could happen here or whatever. The main thing is going to be, does the S&P hold up, or does it push higher, or does it push lower? So we'll soon see. But yeah, I think for the time being, oh yeah, so the S&P, yeah, so the S, oh yeah, so there you go. So the S&P is pushing nicely. Look at that. And this is going to be the thing. This will be the frustrating thing for everyone. Like, basically just here, everyone here, and basically just everyone in crypto is. You'll see, this has the ability to really retrace this fast, but because of the velocity that Bitcoin sold off at, it's going to take so much more effort and money to obviously push Bitcoin to fill back in this sell-off, where obviously if you take the exact point in which we sold off from here, you know, the S&P is already basically halfway there, isn't it? It's basically halfway there to a recovery and could be recovered in the next few hours, where Bitcoin, obviously because it sold off so much, we're not even really starting the recovery yet on it. So that's kind of that is the frustrating thing when we look at kind of the correlation. Yeah, we will soon see. Interestingly, that started to reverse a bit. That's not too far away from where I was looking. 295. Pump down 11. Oof. But yeah, thank you very much for joining me today, everyone. It's been a great stream. Of course, if you do want to get Stonksy, then now is your last chance to get 50% off the annual. It is going after today. So I will put it in the chat. So it is 50% off the annual with code BLACK50. So obviously you come over to the website, you'll type in, you click on the annual and then you'll put the code BLACK50 in at checkout. And that is at stonksy.io/sign up. The link is in the description. I've also put it in the chat there. It's stonksy.io/sign up, which will take you to the sign up page. And it's 50% off annual. So if you have been wanting to join Stonksy, now is your last chance to get that Black Friday offer. And of course, sign up for 50% off. It's under £500 for the whole year. It's a massive, massive deal. And also just great value for money when you consider you get access for the whole entire year for under 500. You know, you only have to make £500 back and then across a whole year, and then you're at break even. So then anything else is obviously profit from that. So it's a super deal, and it'd be great to see some of you over there. But yeah, apart from that, have a great rest of your day. Of course, I'll next be streaming on Wednesday. So, you know, make sure you do come to the Wednesday streams. Don't stream on Tuesday or Thursdays anymore. So my next streaming day will be Wednesday. And yeah, we'll see what's in for the market. Of course, if you're in Stonksy, get in the Discord. And we'll see what happens for the rest of today. But it should be a really interesting day. Make sure you stay safe in the market this week as well, because we could get some really big volatility. But yeah, catch you all later. Bye for now.